Welcome to Hot Topics in International Trade, brought to you by Braumiller Law Group and Braumiller Consulting Group. Hi, this is Bob Brewer with Braumiller Law Group and Braumiller Consulting Group. Welcome to the podcast. With me, once again, as you can see, is Ginger. And in this particular case, it's not just because nobody else had the time to come down the hall and talk with me here in the studio. It's because Ginger had asked me about where are we going with this, Bob? Where are we going with this? As some of you have said, it's not just about Ginger sitting there as a mannequin next to you. It's true. It's not just that. I would love to see someday in this particular seat across from me, not just Ginger, but a humanoid robot. Wouldn't that be great? And the one that I'm looking at right now is about $143,000. But wow, have you seen? Have any of you been paying attention about what China's actually been doing on the robotic front? I'm talking about the humanoid, not so much the autonomous. That's amazing what they've done. They call them. Even Tesla does it. The dark factory now, where this sucker runs 24/7 nonstop. And you don't even have to turn on the lights. You don't have to worry about air conditioning. You don't have to worry about anything human-related, lunch breaks, downtime, sickness, whatever. Maternity leave, it's gone. It's wiped. The minute that even some factories, quite frankly, had installed maybe a portion of their operations with, autonomous robotics, it brings down the cost 40% immediately. So that's kind of where we're going with that. But I'm talking specifically more about, imagine Ginger. And I'll do this. I'll come as close as I can because you can customize on these. And I'm talking when they say human-like appearance. It's if you've seen them with the face expressions now, it's modeled after real people, Ginger, in this particular case. But it's almost got human emotion interaction. And I'm not talking the ones that they're going to put into the half-baked ones that just have the head or anything like that, or even the ones that have the funky head and just would move around in somebody's house or anything like that. What's actually happening is the more human-like forms, and some even walk with the human gait. It's amazing. UBTech's out in front, by the way. I've been looking at UBTech and what they've been doing. They've got, they're just cranking them out. I think they came up with a humanoid, 3 versions of one, and 13,000 of them were pre-ordered within about a week. And they're I think around $30,000 too. So as lonely as people are and I can't not include Japan in this because there's a lot of lonely people there who are getting into this as well. But in China, if you're paying attention it's just that work environment that sets people apart. And you just don't have time to socialize working in China anymore. But I'd love to have a partner when I come home, somebody to chat with, somebody I can relate to. So the whole humanoid robot thing, they position it as emotional companionship. Think about it from the perspective of elderly care, the mental well-being and the support, obviously, that you're going to get in the hospitality and education. They're actually teaching children without them freaking out because they're more human looking and moving. And that goes into the premium domestic service. You've probably seen some of the funkier ones that are in the hotels and all that and can show you to your room. I'm not talking about that so much as I am me, let's say, or someone in China, a guy coming in and sitting down and actually communicating with an individual robot. It's human. UBTech's got this bionic, they're calling it, robot. What that actually means, it's engineered to replicate human movement, appearance, and emotional intelligence. Part of UWorld U1 series. So you got to check this out because as far as China being mass scale, that's not where this is actually going. We're slower than China when it comes to production of the robotics, but we're going for the more intelligent. So it's taking us a little bit longer because we want to perfect that. There was back in the day where Honda was leading the way with theirs, and they shut that down. Oh gosh, I think it was 2018, something like that, because it wasn't fitting in what direction they really wanted to take in the long run, which is more like this. To me, it reminds me of that movie I, Robot, I think. Remember that? Did you see that one with Will Smith? And that was mass production, but they kind of took over and had their own minds in the end to destroy mankind. But it was I think it was his mother's house where they had the robot, very, very close to being human, form, but not in all of the facial species. Because if you see what they've touched these robots with their fingers in some of the videos, and it moves just like human skin. Matter of fact, they had it was a fashion show recently where they had the robots come out, and you'd be tech, and people were like, that's a person inside there. And then the CEO was there. He's like, no, it isn't. So he actually took a pair of scissors and cut out the leg cloth that was covering the robot, from the knee down on one leg to show them this is a robot. But it was amazing how the gait was just totally human. It was hard to tell because what they did was they put, female models, humans, in between these humanoid, and they came out both male and female models walking along with them in this, U-shaped runway. It's just amazing where China's some of the companies up there have just, definitely replicated what it's like to be human. Think about this too, even from the language LLM perspective, what they could know. I mean, brain dumps on these daily, how fast they'd be able to have a conversation with you, just about anything, anything at all, because you could do that now. I do that now with Copilot, even at home, and my gal has a British accent. I like that. But imagine I could even put that on, Ginger now. I could ask her questions. Her lips wouldn't move. They wouldn't really believe it that she's talking, obviously, because of that. But we take it up a step further. Now, when these robots communicate, and they're doing a pretty good job of having a conversation with you rather than just, I don't know, what do you think? That's not it. They actually have an opinion on things, but their lips aren't exactly the only thing. Lips aren't exactly moving to form the speech, and that's key to me. But they're close. So that'll be amazing once they get every facial feature down. I think they've got like 88 now. In one of the top robots of all the facial features, the eyes, how they move, they can even blink, how the lips are starting to move, the facial expression turning of the head and all that. It's just, it's incredible. So that's where I wanted Ginger to know, look, I'm not going to lose you. I'm going to improve you. But I think it would be really cool eventually, and maybe I'll start a GoFundMe page. I don't know. But I'd love to have, let's say, Ginger in this form. It can be done. She and I will be able to sit here and eventually have a conversation about global trade and everything that's in her head, that we can speak about. Not that I wouldn't need Victoria anymore. You can still, you'll see Victoria. She'll stop in and possibly, who knows, one of the attorneys at some point when they can free themselves up. But that's where I'm heading with this. It wasn't just about Ginger. It was a progression and to where we are heading, not just with AI, but the humanoid robots. And I'll have Victoria, when she helps me out with the production on this video, drop in some of these pictures, maybe even a video clip or two of how far along China has come in this. It's amazing. But that's where I'm at. More to come, Ginger. Thanks, everybody.